Okay. We go them and you wrap them in their straps. Um, yeah. When you hold in your right hand. Uvigdo and in his clothes. Knegli opposite his heart. Vizar shalot to and you should be careful that you shouldn't have a strap. Yotzim mitachas yod, the tefach going out from his hand, one tefach. Because yotzim mach amos manichan. When he goes out of the bathroom, he goes away 4 amos and he puts them back on. Biyamino. Okay. In his right hand, he should put it in. Avalobis molna on his left. Some of them should start with kanach both because he has to wipe with his left hand. Kamo shikasu v'simen gimel. It says in Siman Gimel. V'hachaleka l'mechash. When he told us here, there's not to be concerned because of the spray. Sheyavel l'shaf shepiyad she'ochis, but only you're going to become to rub with the hand you're holding the tefillin. The given shamar is basic. Since we're talking about basic keys to the war, mistama ositracham yushavit similarly he's going to the bathroom while sitting down. Because of our mob is Siman and test. The Gemara says in Siman and test the mutzah the kindness with tefillin the mavos is mutzah to go into with tefillin into the mavos mitzanafos into alleyways which are dirty. I feel yeshav makom mitzunaf lahedya even if there's a place there which is very dirty. V'tov l'chasos. Okay. V'tov l'chasos bekovetz. It's good to. Pause. It's good to cover with a hat. The tefillin. Vim seros l'chasos. If you want to take them off, it wrote v'lechaz l'nichan to put them on. Shaper them if you want to do that, it's fine. But Magen Ram Matzad Lom Magen Ram said because she kind of derech both. I'm from two nafos. That if he knows that he's going to enter into one of the alleyways which are dirty, we shouldn't put them on in his house. Elba base Hakanas is ready. Should put them on the base in the show. We only come base shouldn't put them on in his house. Rather, should put them in the show. Yeah. Ogushi and Yicham base always should put them on in his house. Yichas them both some nafos and cover them while he goes into the dirty alleyways. When you stop it, the shekel has a suffix. The after the tzarach l'chas skamkein. However, too, it's possible you have to also cover the straps. And for sure the 3 wrappings around the fingers. That's which are on the fingers. Finger. If the chuvas redvaz and the chuvas redvaz clearly gedal and the simon lam and vav mashma gam can just over the medina tzarach l'chas tefillin. He holds the medina, you have to cover the tefillin. When it comes to the nafas in 30 places. The kol she'ef shelo lechasosim. It's impossible for him to cover them. Mutav she'eniacham v'beisa hakanas. It's better that you should leave them in the shul if you can't cover them. And I guess the straps. Mashmasham dalis v'yud shebertulas kein tzarach chasos. It's mashma that the dal and yud of the straps you don't have to cover. Shem derech chashira v'lo derech chasiva, because those can count as tying and not as writing. Ein sham look there. And I guess obviously if you don't have to cover the knots, then you don't have to cover the straps. And I was reading that wrong. Because knots are definitely straps. I mean, maybe the ones on the finger. I don't know. And holds them with his right hand. I'm Mishnah Berurah. Look at Mishnah Berurah. Mashal Kasal Mishnah Berurah. We should name Berurah lahakol. Radvaz is machmir, and the Radvaz is machmir. It would say for words of Berurah, Asher Zechina Mikarov. So this was again. You could go into dirty places. We say for Zerua, Asher Zakina Mikar Larav, and the book of the Zerua, which came to light very close, came to light. Mashma Karamat, Mashma Zermad, you could be Mako. The class of Simon Tufka Favav, Simon Tufka as well. The Mutzala Avar, the basic key, it's Mutzala to pass in the basic key, say. or to pass through a basic say. The feet dark as he's walking. If he doesn't need to go to the bathroom, with tefillin brochure, he can leave the tefillin even on his head. Mashmul the shon that's Mashmul's language mechalik bein yemhu over shu kovel atzmul liyosha. If he's passing, Mashmul there's a difference if he's passing there, or if he's just setting himself to be there. Obazay the ashid kitzas kosher the magen Avram. With this, you can answer a little bit the question of the magen Avram. Pesach tas merchatz rechoka from a bathhouse, which is very far. Commercial cuts of seven memhei sifes. For Afagav the Indian Divri Torah, even though in regards to the words of Torah, lo mechalkinan bein mahalech omid bevrachos kavdal and beis, even though we don't make a difference between standing, going or standing in brachos kavdal and beis, lenyan zeh mechalkinan in regards to this, we make a difference. If he's going to set himself, or if he's passing or standing, it makes a difference if you can keep the tefillin on. Okay. Okay. Or like setting himself up. The I love a tefillin. He's putting wearing tefillin. The hutzrich basically he has to go to the bathroom, but that night, or sometime close tonight. She'ain shows le'anicham od acher sheet. So there's no time to put them on after he leaves. Leikan is mem galulim bevigdo. He shouldn't go into them with rolled into his garment. I feel lahashim ma'im even to go to the bathroom number one. And basically, it's a kavua and a set basically. Allocated yas. Rather, what you do, you put them, take them off, and put them in a vessel. Imhaya bo tafach. So you don't have to put them on again, and they're wrapped in his clothes. Even to go to the bathroom number one, you wouldn't have to. Elo yet kids yas. What you do? Cholzan and manicham bakali. Rather, take them up and put them in a vessel. Imhaya bo tafach. If the vessel has a tefach, or bakli she'eno kalyan, or if you could put them in a vessel which is not their vessel, it's not set aside for tefillin. Apple v shem b'tefach, even though there's no tefach in it. Go to the kli v'yado v'nechnas, and then you can hold the kli in your hands and go in. So you can't wrap them in your clothes, but you can put them in a tefach sized kli, not that big, or something which is not their vessel. Okay, the Mishnah verse says, "Gulim b'vegdo," the rolled in his clothes. You can't do that. What's the lama? Because you're not putting them back on. What's the lama? According to this, that we said in this earlier sif, the ochzam yamino b'vigdo, to hold them in his right hand in his clothes. This is from the Magen Avram. No, this is from the Bushi Srat. Dafka k'sheyesh lo shos lanicham lo. It's only when you have enough time to put them on again. Achar is kach afterwards. Lo if yichu lanicham akli. But then they didn't pressure him to put him into a vessel. Masha inkem be'ein shos, which is not true when there's no time. Imhaya bo tefach, if there was a tefach in it. Aval k'she'ein bo tefach, but if there's no tefach in it, batal l'gabi a tefillin, then it's batal to the tefillin, and therefore the bag wouldn't help. Kivin shehu kelyon, since it's their vessel, but also lachnis in the basic case would be also to bring them into a bathroom. Biyado v'nechnas, you could put the vessel in his hands and enter. Shalo yitlu osam over drachim, that people passing by shouldn't take them. This is from the Gemara and Shamlik there. Okay, v'filu lahashemayim, the Mishnah Berurah says, Rotalamar b'miyushav, the means when you're sitting down. If he's going to the bathroom sitting down, because otherwise he's gonna maybe wipe with them. Or with loose dirt. There's not a concern of spray, therefore you could hold them in your hand. You're not worried that the children are going to get stuff on them. below Sifal, seven Sifal. Basic Kisik, well, even if that's the case of the Key plus Kisik, whether the basic Kisik arise, same thing would be a temporary one. With tefillin shabarosha and tefillin on his head, again, would be a problem if he's going to, if he doesn't have time to put them back on, or it's very close to dark. Manichum Makli, in Hayabo Tefach, you put them on a vessel, and if there was a Tefach in there, you could do that. I'm Mishnah Brother because Rabbi Magad Avram, Hevi, O Bishim Rashi, brings further the name of Rashi. The Imma Kli Haya Tefach, the Chashif Kli Ohel, that if there's a Tefach, then the Kli counts as an Ohel, they'll have to paint up with the Karka between, make a separate term between them and the Karka, and the ground below them. And what's the Lanichum base, you can put them on your house, Agabi Karka on top of the floor. And if it would be a vessel which is not the vessel, you can put it even less than it. Even if it doesn't have a tefach, it would still be okay. 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 Number Zion. Just Zion. Medavar when is said basic Easter in a bathroom which is in the field. Avo basic Easter Shabbat in a bathroom which is in the house. You can't put them there at all. Mashma da filu because it's mashma even in their bag you can't put them. This is from the Magen Avram. So lo yachnisem b'kal. You shouldn't enter them and not put them in. Okay. Even in the bag you couldn't put them in. I'm Machas Shekel. Because look at the Machas Shekel, which says that the imhu b'kis, and that if they're in their bag, to know them because it's up for the malbushim, and you put it in the pocket which is sewn into his clothes. The also kiss anal kalyan. That pocket is not their vessel, but having click so clear mutter. There will be one vessel inside of another would be mutter. So this is in. So back up top, so this is in a basic kitchen which is in the field. But if it would be in the house, you couldn't do it. You don't put them in. Since you could put them in a safe place. Okay, back to the Mishnah Berurah, Mishtamer. The Shar Sfarim, Ukasavim, Sheish Bem Shemos, and other books and writings which have in them the name of Hashem. Imheim Bekis Shar Lachnisim. If they're in a bag, then they would be mutter to put in, to bring in. This from the Magen Avraham. I'm Primaganda, the Primaganda. Feel the basic keys, Shababayas, even a bathroom in the house. Bagraz Machmer, Radvaz Mashmal Hakal, and the Radvaz Mashmal to be Makel. Yeshamim to be in and Dafka Tick, so click Tick. Some say that it specifically has to be one vessel inside of another. Imtzarcho basic key say, the kind of basic keys, if he has to go into a basic key say, then he would have to use one inside of another. Ukul Elden, Tefillin, as we said earlier in regards to Tefillin. This is from the Eli Rambam. The Sefer Torah also b'chol gavni. Sefer Torah is also in all cases. You couldn't do this even vessel inside of a vessel in Smashma. Okay, because of the Shari Tshuva says those in Hamobishin Tinokos the Kameya, those that are wear on their kids this sort of amulet. Shekos of Shemol that says the name of Hashem. The clasp on a piece of parchment. Sharak Lizar Shihei Kli. So Kli has to be careful that should be one vessel inside of another. Given Tinokos Lifnim Behem. All the Malam, since the kids have go to the bathroom with them while they're on them. Okay. The person forgot that there's filling on his head and went to the bathroom. Number two, puts his hand in them until the first flow is stopped. Can't stop right away, but you wait till you put it on as you wait till the first flow is stopped. You also have the Cholson, then go out and take them off. The Cholson wants to come back in. The Mishnah Berurah says, so I'm going to Choser that if stopping a flow, maybe ultimately they had hadraka, and it could bring a person to hadraka, but Silon a Choser, maybe ultimately they a rako. And a Silon, gonna guess it's the other way, is gonna bring a person to Yerako, different disease. the point is you can't stop in the middle of the first flow. Okay, mutter l'rofe likach of it, back up top, and it's mutter for a rofe to take a chamber pot. Shamei reglam of a chamber pot of urine, yeah. The other one is hand is filling beroshin and filling it on his head. Ubal nefesh yachmer, that's one of the person who cares about his soul will be machmer about for himself and not carry it in the chamber pot in his filling up. The rofe likach livdok bo hachol to search with it the sick person. So he has this chamber pot to check the sick person, whatever. Vein like see like this what comes out of him. Vein circle so as filling you wouldn't have to take out his filling. But of the habit rofe who had been the case was just like was a rofe, and the same thing would be by every person could carry a chamber pot. It wouldn't be a problem to be wearing filling and carrying it, but we should be mad. Cold management filling barosho as long as it's filling on his head, or his rower on his on. Also be shown to him it's also to sleep with him. I feel Shina Sarai given a temporary sleep. Ellen Kim Alehem, sooner unless we put on them a handkerchief. V'lo imo isha yashim behem, and it wasn't a woman sleeping with them. Isha yashim behem shinas rais. If there was no, if you put a suitor on them, and there's no woman with him then you could sleep with them, a temporary sleeping. Okay, so what does he do? Maniach rosho bein kirov. He puts his head between his thigh, his knees. Yeah. And he's sitting down, then he sleeps with his tefillin and a handkerchief on it. If his tefillin are rolled up in his hands, then it's mutter to sleep with them, even a sad sleep if they're in his hands. If he holds them in his hands, if they're not wrapped in his hands. It's also to sleep with them, even a temporary sleeping. Okay? If they're not wrapped. Okay, the dafka kisha achosan below na'artik, it's only when you're holding them without the bag. Avok b'nartikan, but if they're in their bag, b'cholin yashar will be mutter in every case, I guess, even if they're not wrapped. Okay, the Mishnah Berurah says, the gazvina shema yavel afiach them. The reason I can't do it, shinas right, the where you're going to come. If a gazera shema, you're going to come to pass wind with them. By then, achos asudur alehem yiskar sheish tefillin on level yavel afiach. And to the fact that he has a handkerchief on it, you'll remember that he has tefillin on him, he won't come to pass wind. So it sounds interesting. This is from the Prima God. He's dead to sleep. Feel she to ride, but in the Beralacha, the look of it, Russian and Bain Yono, not like the Russian Bain Yono, and Makirin she to ride, they might just temporary sleep, but Beragra, Bereshi Sim and Mashma, Shadaito, the Sokamosa, the Hakel, and the Beragra is Mashma. His das is passing like them to be mako. Achlodaito lo mikri shina sarai. However, according to his das, it wouldn't be called shina sarai. Kim ge kadei hiluk me'ams is only be sleeping for 100 amos. And even this way would only be mutter if you were putting it between his thighs, his knees. Ukumosha of the convo simon, as he says in that simon. So meaning shina sarai only counts as 100 amos. And even 100 amos, which is not that long, that's probably 100 seconds, something like that. Would only be much if you put it between his knees. Okay, even if though he would allow Shina Sarai temporary one for that. Okay. Yashani, back in the Mishnah Berurah again. Imo Yisha, there's no wife with him. Avalima Yishto, even but if his wife is him, it's also Gzer Shami Yishamish Behem, maybe he'll have relations with her there. This is from the Gemara. Yashim him sleeps with them. Lo Chashav has doesn't count as removing his mind. Alakishahu omid bespoke the kalsoj only when he's standing when he's with laughter and lightheartedness. Abokishahu osik b'malachta when he's doing his work. It's from Tamina Rabbeinu Yonah, Raz Rabbi Chadushav, the Sukkah and his Kedushin Sukkah, Rosh Patur, and the El B'Simin Chafes, Mishari Tshuva. Avokishahu osik b'malachta b'malachta the Ein Daita Olem, Mamish, Ein Zen Nikra has a Chadas, it doesn't count as has a Chadas. Okay. This next thing is from the grass. In Lomish Matriach Daita, unless his mind is like so messed up, Kolkas Tzarka go for the needs of his body, Aj Levavo Ponim Meiras Shemayim Machwas Tirdas until his heart is turned from you as the fear of heaven because of his troubles. And also when he sleeps, he forgets the nothingness of the world. So it's not a big deal. Still, it's a better mitzvah. She hate night to tell me all the tefillin that his mind should constantly be on the tefillin. Shalo yet the may have shouldn't move his mind from that. Limshok lahayr b'machshavas road to move and to think about bad thoughts. Shemitam zeh kayav the mashrish kol shah. That for this reason the person has to touch them constantly. Shalo yet the may have shouldn't move his mind from that. This is from the Bach. Zulas b'shash tefillah except in the time of davening, baliman and learning. Ain't circles and diet of the tefillin. A person doesn't have to put his mind to tefillin, even for the mitzvah and the mavkar, because it's just going to distract you. I'm the berura. Shinas araya, temporary sleeping. Vein shir lazel, there's no measure for how long temporary is. So if they're in the suda, then you could do a temporary. They have a suda that you could do a temporary sleeping. There's no measure to it. V'yeshom in the kedei hilach me'am. Some say it's more than 100 amos. I'm not going to saw that was in the Quran. That's 1/67th mishak kibbeker, 1/67th of an hour approximately. So it's way less than 100 seconds. Okay, and that's how the Grab passes in his explanation. So it's a minute and then 60 divided by 7 is 7, 8, well 8.5. I'm not sure. Again, I can't do the math in my head. Okay, but it's less than a minute. Bein Biarkov between his thighs. Yilav Halchas Hashin and Shema Yavel Hashtim the Ashtaka Hashin is Kevach not, so then we're concerned that maybe he's going to come to be grabbed by a set sleep. This is from the Gemara. Mutter Lishon is mutter to sleep. The Lo Hashin and Bezed La Falcon, we're not concerned about this, maybe he'll come past wind. Kivin Shayin of Shalov since they're not on him. And they're wrapped in his hand. Also Lishon is also to sleep. The Hashin and Shema Yipul Miyado that we're concerned that maybe it's going to fall from him. If he's holding them. The holding in shari in every case would be mutter if they're in their bag. The filim yiplu al karka that even if they fall on the floor, ain't chashash kol kach without such a concern. because they're in their bag. Behind the very bear hagla, look at the bear brush because the dafka and niftig maxig tefach. It's only if the bag can hold a tefach. Oz chashuv latzitzel lahaftig veino l'karka. Then it makes count as a separation between it and the ground if it's a tefach. Yashim mehem, sleeping with them. Behind the Mishnah Berura, look at the Mishnah Berura. It's a cut and gimel masha kasav. Zulas b'shasha tefillah v'alima, that we say aside from learning and davening that you don't have to think so much about the tefillin. After the Pri Megadim causes the mitzvah and a mokal shelo yasiach taito, even though we say that the Pri Megadim says that it's mitzvah and a mokal not to move his hand, klal mitzvah, often the tefillin afilu b'shas kriyas shema tefillin, even the time of saying kriyas shema and davening. Lo samach, so some pikain, I didn't make a stam like this. Ki mavor, ki aberheta, because the berheta b'shem Rizal, the name of the Rizal, causes the half he writes the opposite. If a fraction, it's also the same for his ruah, especially since I found in the book of the ruah. Lizel Hashem, this is language, simon tafka hey. V'tzarach adam shehu lavosh tefillin, this court, the person who's wearing tefillin has to remember. Tefillin alav, below yes, lasiach life, the tefillin are on him, and he shouldn't move his mind, mehem. Shelo yishon behem, that he should sleep with them, below yafiach behem, he shouldn't pass wind with them. Ki machos zocher shenosi Hashem, anechva, that because he remembers that he's wearing the holy name of Hashem, Allah upon him, eno bali de kalas rosh, he won't come to be lighthearted, the tofis yirashamayim belibo, and he'll grab on his heart the fear of heaven. Okay. Therefore, when a person is intending his heart in his prayer, or he's dealing with the halacha shelo, doesn't count as moving his mind. The kol shekain, the kol shekain, the ikiyar Hashem, this for sure. For kol shekain, there's the fear of the heaven. I've come to show this at the end of his language. Okay. Shulchan says, also the kind of basic verse, also to enter the graveyard, or betoch arba amos, shalmeis, or within the 4 amos of a dead body, with tefillin brosh and tefillin on his head. Mishum, like the roast, because of the idea of insulting a poor person. The im heim machusim, if they're covered, then it would be mutter to go into the basic verse with them. The basic verse, afilu betoch arba amos, even within the 4, I think they're on him, I'm not sure. Avilu b'toch arba amos, even within the 4 amos. Shom makam haspolas akvarim, at the beginning of the graves, you can be within those 4 amos. Gam kein also, I'm sorry, you couldn't. It would also be also. Yilaka machitza mafsekas beinem, unless there's the wall separating between them. V'hazlo erev b'yachav yom. Why didn't this didn't pick them up? Yeah, combine everything and say. Also le'achtos arba amos shel kever oshames. It's also to go 4 amos to within 4 amos of a grave or of a dead person. That's the Magen Avraham, the opinion of the Magen Avraham. The Baal Ram is coming to hint to us the Mimakam basic verse with the film that from the place of the grave and the graveyard and within, also afilu rich garmamos, it's also even if you're more than 4 amos from the mina kevin from the grave. V'yesh mekilim was there's some that are make about this, see if it's more than 4 amos. V'ayim beralacha, look at the beralacha. The be'emtza basic verse, in the middle of a basic verse, yesh kavarim sav, then there's graves all around them near the yesh lach, there should be machmer. V'yilu raka garmamos, even if you're more than 4 amos. Mina kevin from the grave. Masha in came to so basic verse, which is not true by the end of a graveyard. The ancient kavarim rak. There's no graves there at the end of this. Rak the hukta karka the kavarim. It's just the ground has been set aside for graves, but there's nothing there, and there's no graves around you. Ein lahaf medina. You shouldn't be berich garmamos mina kevin. You should be. There's no not to be machmas in the law if you're 4 amos away from the grave. But Apple PK even still Nachman Shalom the kindness you trying to use cloud with tefillin should brush it's proper not to go it on at all in there with your tefillin on his head. Kol shu lifnim mechlitas basic chords as long as he's in the walls of the basic chord of the graveyard. Shem yiskari b'sofa arba amos, maybe he'll come within the 4 amos shall is that cover of whichever grave will he die without thinking about it, and that'll be a problem. So arba amos within the 4 amos. Gossip with there's the kingdom, right? So kol also Cheder Shem Meis Munafo, the entire room with the dead bodies there. Chashuv Kayim Amos counts as 4 Amos Shal Meis of the dead body, so the entire takes up the room. And Magli Burim call it 11. Magli Burim argues on him because of the end of Tovis Rak Arba Amos. He says it only takes 4 Amos, not the whole room. Ayin Shel. Afilu Kavish Kasid, even the graveyard of a kid. Shadain Lo Hagil Lakal Mitzvos, it didn't come to the category of mitzvos. Afilu Hafi Ain Kanish Sham Tefillin Sham Rosh, still shouldn't come there with the tefillin on his head. Mishum Lam in the Rosh, because it still counts as insulting a poor person. Mutter. If they're covered, it will be mutter. B'tzarach shegam hurtzuas tiyam mechusus. You have to also have the straps be covered. So if everything is covered, it's okay. Lefikach avol tisha mutter lekanis b'tefillin shal yad. Therefore, even though it's really mutter to go into with the tefillin on his arm, levada alone, oil b'hu mechusus, it would be covered. Tzarach lezar b'tzuas alef. We would have to be careful about the straps which are on his arm or his fingers. Shatia gam came mechusus. They should also be covered. Just do beis the first one. Base of Merchot, a base of Chitzon, Shekolom Dimbo. If you have a base of Merchot in the outer room, which everyone's standing there, let's see the Mishnah Berurah here. Shedar Kohayla after Shalav is that the way was that after they put on the clothes, Love Shu Hakolak, the base, I'm sorry, after they put on their outer clothes in the middle, or really their undergarments in the middle room, Leilach the base of Chitzon, they would go to the outer room, Ligma Levish and put on the rest of the clothes. This is from the Rashi. Okay. Back to number 1, Ber Halacha. Also, the kind of basic parts, you can't go into the graveyard. I'm a prima gun, the Shikos with the Shalosh Machalokas, the David, there's 3 way Machalokas about this. So, Bachslaver, the Kavars, Nami, Tochai Bamas, the Kaver who does it. The Bach holds that even that, by basic parts also, it's only within the 4 amas of the grave, is an Amr, is an Asr. Half Hatzla Abramas, if it's outside of the Abramas, shall cover the grave. Alf Bisha Omen Bams, the basic parts, even though he's in the middle of the base of the Kavars, it would still be sharp. Kol Shem, the Shaviva Kavar, as long as it's not surrounded by graves. Total Arbamas within 4 amos. With Taz parish, and Taz explains, Medina ain't also Rakim Toch Arba Amos Lekavar. Medina is only us within 4 amos of the grave. Torah Hechmer and the Torah is Machmer Rishim gather because of a Gezerah Chutz Arba Amos, because maybe the shell cover can be just because of a decree, like basically a Gezerah. If you're even outside of the 4 amos shell cover, Kol Shu Am basic far as long you're inside the graveyard. Hainu Malcolm Shahuktu the meaning this is the place which has been set for the graves, so that we get set aside for the graveyard, then you can't go there with stone. Abuchutz the basic parts, but outside of the basic parts, in the Hachma Klal can't be, there's not to be Machmer at all. The Diday, according to him, Kumosha Perish Beish Avram says Nation they know together. We don't make a second Gezerah on a Gezerah. When Magan Avram perished, the Magan Avram says Tok Arba Amos Shel Kvaros Nami also that even within four amos of graves would be Aser, okay, of the basic forest, not just the graves, but of the graveyard. 4 amos away would be Aser. But the bar of Kashav, according to his words, would be it's a question. I've been listening to want to put them together and teach them. Also, the kind of the Tok Amos, it's supposed to go within 4 amos, shell basic parts of the graveyard. Oh, shell base over dead body. I'm sure this in his language. Avo Machus Shekel the Simonai and Aleph perish, but the Machus Shekel and Simonai explains. The Magen Avraham Sova Gam came Bezek Ataz, and the Magen Avraham really also like this, also in this way holds with the Taz. The Ain't also in Malcolm Shahuskal basic words. It's not usher from the place where it starts the graveyard. I know a karko shows the kavaris, which is the ground which has been set for graves. Ulachutza, and outside of that, afilu amachus, even 1 amah past that would not be usher. Afilu ilek of mechitza masagas bein time, even if there's no wall separating between them. Rakti bezepal the galatans, just this is our galatans. Besover the malcolm basic kavaris lifnim, from the place of the graveyard and inward, can go and sheesh mechitza savi basic kavaris. For example, there's a wall around the graveyard. Or afilu lek of mechitza, even if there's not a wall, kala raksha hook to the kavaris, but this place has been set for graveyard. Also Medina, I feel the Rachak Arba Amos would be also Medina, even if it's 4 amos away. Minak farm from the graveyard. It was that Yusur Kush is the Prima Gunam. This will remove the Prima Gunam's question. Okay. So he holds it's a problem even if it's not within the grave, but it's in the basic far. It's in the graveyard. Not just this isn't just the getter, this is a real Medina also. Okay, Magen Avram Shekasa Binyanin is a Hasra Fila, but it's so Arba Amos Shal basic voice. And Magen Avram says in our topic that even if we're within 4 Amos of the graveyard, Hainu Imakavar Mischilim take of Makom Haskalas the basic voice. This is if the graves would start from immediately from the start of the graveyard. Mashalo Hiskabim Machaber Haister Raf basic voice, and this the Machaber says only because when you're in the graveyard, Hainu who follow the rabbis, that's just because the Machaber is coming to include. Presented in Makom Haskalas Karka Shal basic verse is the beginning of the start of the ground of the graveyard. Lifnim and inside Ostra Filu Chutz La'arbamus to be us even if you were without sight of 4 Hamas Minikvarim of the graveyard of the graves. Without, so meaning if it's the graves would come all the way up to the wall, then you, or I don't know if there would be a wall there, all the way up to the end of the graveyard, then you would have to get far away. But we're talking in the case where even if you're far away from the graves and the graves are not very close to the wall, there's very few graves, but still the whole basic verse would be a problem, according to this Magen Avram. Without you should know for the Gra, so the Gra holds the Simcha of Gimel and Simcha of Gimel the Zerovan in his explanation. The Toch Arba Amos shall basic bars that within 4 Amos of the basic bars, it is also within 4 Amos of the graveyard. Ram is Gamkin le Ayam b'Magen Avram. And he also makes a hint to look at the Magen Avram and your name on our topic. Mash Gamkin the Hum Befarish the Magen Avram. He's going to explain like the Magen Avram. In the Magen Avram, the Shekel, like the Magen Shekel did, I know that it will be only if the graves come out to the wall, and otherwise only the grave is going to be us. The graveyard is going to be us. But Ari Gam came back and is also talking in this case, Dafka, Dot Sayan or Zet B'Sham, and he stopped because he concludes he sources for this over there. Zel Lemakor for a source, I'll have the gospel from Machaber. This is the Machaber says, Sham the Toch Arba Amos Lekaber Asen, that within 4 Amos of the grave is Asen. It's because the Magen Avram really talking 4 Amos of the grave. But they did the in Docha Klal Lefarish Game, and I'll prove to you it's not at all to explain such thing. The Hataz Gufa, the in Machmir, because the Taz himself is not Machmir Klal, puts the basic parts at all when you're outside of the graveyard. He's not Machmir. Because of Gam can be your day, also class says in your day, but similar base. So Katan Gimel, the Toch Arba Amos, the basic parts also. He says within 4 Amos of the basic parts is also. How could that be? The Myra opened because of the Shekel, and now it has to be like the way that the Shekel wrote earlier, that it was talking when the graves go right up to the wall. And Yotzmiz, which comes out from all this, the Bekarka show hooks to the Kavaris. If you have a ground which is set aside for graves, the Lechutza, and outside of that, Bavadi and also Klal Fila Amach. It's for sure not also at all, even 1 Am. Kol Sheish Arba Amos min HaKaver, as long as it's 4 Amos from the grave. Even when the Magen Avram is Machma basic parts Atma by a graveyard itself, Medina Chos La'arma Amos Shal Kaber, he holds Medina also without, even if you're outside of 4 Amos of the grave. Gam Ken Yesh Laim is there is also to look into this. The Bach will summon of the Chad Shittas coming Hafko, that the Bach and the Lastamin in one come together in one sheet and say Paskin to be made. Oh, but Gam Taz, so because I when else the Taz agrees with them, make her dinner from the main, then they hold that it's not a problem. Gamma Prina Begadim, even the Prima Begadim, Hikshalav has questions on him. The Ladavar of Shakar Hook to the Gvars, that according to his words, that ground which has been set aside for graves, also Afila Rach Karbi Mekvarm is also even if you're very far away from graves, and Cain, Ech Nagu Lomer Kaddish, how can you say Kaddish or basic Gvars in the graveyard? I knew a day of Simon Shana involved, look in your days involved. But Bakain Cost of the Sefer Nar Shalom, since it's already Nar Shalom, the Chormi Yiseri, Hila Hachmer Chutz La'arbamus, it's a great comment to be Machmer going outside of 4 Amos. Dimkain historical Hachmer Kola Karka, therefore you're going to have to be Machmer the entire ground, Shehok to the Kavaris, which has been set aside for graves. But Fila Rocha Kama, even if it's very far away. Achum Makam Kavaris Lufnim, however, from the graves and in, Afilu it's Rami Shiesham Yoser Me Arba Amos Roch Menakaber, and if it happens from that there is a little more than 4 Amos from within the side from a grave, but you are within a bunch of graves. There is a place to be machmer about this. Okay. Now I don't know how we do Kaddish anyway. If it's a problem within the graves, I think we're way closer than 4 Amos.